hello, and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 334 for Friday, December 20th, 2024. Zoho Practice to the rescue. From Zenatta Consulting, I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
I've been gone so long. I don't even remember.
I know you're feeling rusty.
I'm feeling rusty. It's been crazy. I don't know. I think last time I was on was July, and now Christmas is here. I don't even know what's going on. It just seems like that. Oh, no, not this year. Not this year.
I'm a married man now, Freddie. I can't be doing
Tyler got married this year. We can't do that anymore.
My hall pass has been revoked.
Oh, man. So I know you're coming out to California for Christmas.
Yep, coming out to California for a week, and then, be dodging the snow. Though I do like a white Christmas. I will miss that.
I'm going to come out for 3 days. Coming out to Cali for 3 days, seeing the family. Going to be good. Not bad. So anyway, man, we have got a big show. So as always, there is a lot of news that happens in Zoho. This week in particular was quasi-ridiculous, probably 20 some odd stories. We've kind of condensed it down to the 7 biggest stories. So, so definitely you will want to read our newsletter and that. And if you missed the Black Friday, the Cyber Monday sale on our team training, right now you can get that same deal, $1,000 off all the courses. So a $1,500 CRM course cost you $500, $2,000 for all the courses now cost you only $1,000. You use the code GOODBYE2024 and you will be able to take advantage of that. We had people that missed the Cyber Monday sale. This is it. You got your last 10 days here to go ahead and get this all done. And with that, let's hear a little bit about our courses. Freddie, roll it.
Are you struggling to get your team trained in using Zoho effectively? Considering the hefty costs of team meetings and onboarding sessions dedicated to Zoho training, there has to be an easier way. Say hello to efficiency with our Zoho team training courses. Zoho CRM made easy. Become a project management pro, top-tier customer support, and maximize your marketing impact. Are you ready to equip your team? Start today at zenatta.com/training and let us lead the way.
All righty. Unveiling Zoho Practice 2.0. Tyler, I had to have you give me a little refresher on this pre the show. When did this launch originally? Last year? This year?
Last year, yeah. I think it was last year, like late last year it came out, if I remember correctly.
Late last year. Is this for accountants specializing in Zoho Books or any accountants where you've got Zoho Books clients? You basically, rather than that person having to go ahead and make you their accountant and you having to log in each time, this basically you've got a central portal where you can just go through all of your accounts that you are doing business for. And they've added a bunch of nice features with 2.0. Pretty nice. Just kind of scrolling down here, you've got work papers to find. This is for audits, financial audits. And they're basically allowing you using, is this a Zia thing? They're going to do some stuff here? No, it looks like it's not. Anyway, basically you can, it is Zia, isn't it? They're going to dive into their historical trends. Is that what they're doing here? Yeah, there you go. So very helpful.
Building out workflow automation as well. That's a big one. I mean, one of the things that I think people come to Zoho for is automation. And so getting this built out inside of practice is really nice. If there's some of those repeatable activities that you were tired of doing manually, right? It's a big one here. I would imagine for accountants as like, you're going to need some kind of document from their client. They're taking a long time to give it to you. So you can set up email follow-ups to say like, hey, Brett, still waiting on that. Please send it over so I can pay your taxes or calculate them for you. We've also added a self-service portal. That's really nice. So they can log in there and like provide you that documentation. This is kind of a nice thing too, because with Practice version 1, it was very much geared for working really well for clients of yours that are on Zoho Books, where you can like basically get credentials and connect into their account. Having a portal makes it a little easier for you to use this for non-Zoho Books clients that might need to log in and provide you things that aren't going to come through like the pre-baked integration. So Nice one there just to kind of expand the fit of this tool outside of just like the Zoho finance space.
Yeah. And we've got simplified accounting for smaller clients. So Zoho Practice now gives you the ability to kind of do easy, simplified bookkeeping for them, easy transaction reports, imports. So, very nice if you've got a small client to do that. And now they have custom modules. So this is going to be specifically on the practice side. So the ability to create, maybe you want to have something where you're collecting different data. Maybe you want to, however you want to arrange it. Maybe you just want a custom module that's where you're storing various documents, doing whatever you're doing. You basically have that ability now to do that as well. I'm not sure, since I'm not an accountant, what the exact use case there would be, but very good. And they've got now flexible pricing. So did they only have one kind of pricing before?
I think so. And also, I think they are rolling it out. So if you're a Zoho finance partner, you would get it for free. So we could actually get it for free with our finance team, which is pretty smart. I know they're doing a lot of work to try to grow the Zoho finance partner community. It is one of those tricky things where people are like, yeah, I love Zoho Books, but my accountant, my CPA, they only use QuickBooks. And so I think Zoho is trying to catch up a bit there and like create some tools that entices accountants to enter the Zoho world and kind of contribute over here. So I like what they're doing with this app. I think it's smart, and I hope it goes well for them.
As well. And moving right along. All right, over in Zoho CRM, they now have record summary to give you insights at your fingertips. I played around with this morning. It's actually only available for CRM Ultimate users, and I think you have to have 50 plus users even on your Ultimate. Scroll down to the bottom here to make sure. Was that exactly what it was?
I believe so.
Yeah.
CR Ultimate Edition, 50 plus licenses.
50 plus licenses. So what this does is it really gives you just kind of a little thing, no matter what you're in, if you're in a deal record, a lead record, whatever, you've got this little generate summary button. You click on it. It then generates the summary. Then it changes to view summary, and you click on that, and it gives you a nice little view of what kind of nice summary. It's using their large language model in Zia to basically look at the notes, look at what's happened, look at the overall statuses, and then kind of give you a summary of what's going on. Also seems to be pulling in some interesting data from across various other modules. Even if you're in one module, it's looking at other things and pulling it in.
Yeah.
I tested it out this morning. It was pretty accurate, kind of nice, gave you a nice summary. So I think this really would be helpful if, something's been going on for a long time and you're wanting to kind of dive into it and take a look at it. But you can do, I think it's $100 a month or something like that is what they were saying at the bottom here. So this is
I think a big note here too is that this was a feature that was rolled out a while back using ChatGPT. You'd put in your API code, you would connect it, and then you could do these summaries using a third-party LLM. This is, I think, their first feature that they're going to integrate their own LLM. And if we go up to the very top of this article, they actually link over. I don't know if this made it on our document this week, but they've rolled out their own LLM. So rather than having to leverage, because Zia, to be clear, has never been an LLM, right? It's pretty basic, like kind of language processing, find and fetch type of operations. And so, they've actually rolled out basically their own, I won't call it a GPT, but like an LLM feature that they're going to start, I think, kind of replacing. And the way it's going to work is as you activate any of these AI tools, you'll basically be able to choose between Zia or ChatGPT. So if you are on like a smaller license with Zoho, you might just need to use GPT to get these features. The reason for context that Zoho has it locked down to larger accounts on Ultimate is that they have to run these models on their own servers, and they're not cheap. It's quite a lot of money to actually like process anything via an LLM. The energy costs are pretty significant. So that's why it's constricted. So smaller users might make sense to keep it on ChatGPT, whereas larger ones can put it on Zoho's bill and run it through Zia.
So this is almost in a beta stage, because if you're limited to Ultimate Edition, just so you know, you've got your basic, professional, enterprise, Ultimate. The only bundle that ever comes with Ultimate is CRM Plus, and for the most part, I've actually never really met a client that needs Ultimate. Have we?
It's very rare. It's very rare.
I mean,
Sometimes they need 5 subforms on a record. That's one, but it's tough though, because now you're paying more for every single user just to get those. So we always, as we're like architecting a system, we really try to avoid building or designing it in a way where it needs Ultimate, because most of the features, like you're saying, that come with it just aren't needed for the majority of people.
Yeah, Zoho's going to need to buy some more NVIDIA chips is my guess on this. So, all right, moving along. Also over now into Zoho Desk, you can create customized SLAs for your customer base with support plans. So your service level agreements, very nice. Maybe you basically telling some customers we're going to get in touch with you in 48 hours. Some we're going to get in touch with you in 4. Based on the customer, you can set up the SLAs so the tickets can get priority, and you basically can meet your service level agreement. Pretty slick.
Yeah, very nice. More of like an enterprise level feature, right? Where you have those strict SLAs, you have certain service contracts that you need to do. And so one nice thing too is that they're able to set up like different settings for different times of year to kind of manage like holidays and things like that. So is really nice. Like sometimes we find ourselves when a client has a more complicated SLA requirement, having to use like workflows to do it and like kind of build it from scratch. So the more they can expand the SLA management, that's like one of the first things you want to do when you set up a ticketing system. It's well worth the investment on Zoho's side.
Very nice. All right. And moving on, also here in Zoho Desk, DKIM is now mandatory. So if you don't know, that is a setting. You go back into your server and your mail server, and you put in a key. It's a very long key. And basically now when people are sending their email, it checks it and it says, hey, yeah, this is authenticated. This is real. This is coming from the right person. You should have it set anyway. It's just kind of one of those things that everybody should do. I know we talked about this before, but what's the progress on, kind of a unified? I mean, are all of the DKIMs
no progress? No progress at all.
Okay. What we're talking about is
they've unified
each one's a
some
little
of the
different for every app.
A lot of you can get away with one SPF a lot because on the back end, most of these are sending through Transmail or Zeptomail. So that can generally be one size fits all, but they come from different like mail domains. So you do need multiple DKIMs. Also, just to add on to the PSA, while you're in there, go ahead and set up DMARC. We have a blog over on the website. If you search DMARC, it'll come up first. That's going to be coming soon. DKIM is now becoming required in a lot of situations. DMARC is going to be required anyways. It's quick to set up. It's not super obvious. So Wayne actually wrote out a big blog of how to set up DMARC for Zoho. So just go check that out. If you're going to be in your domain settings, might as well kill 2 birds with one stone and get that added as well.
SPF still a thing?
SPF still a thing. You've always needed that too.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. And it's also good when you're out in the sun. So
true.
There you go. All right. And hey, now over in Zoho FSM, you now have unified notes for seamless collaboration.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, it's a big one. So your notes basically were just living everywhere. They weren't unified. You had to kind of hunt around for them. So now they are basically doing a very nice job and combining all of the notes. And it's, you can everybody can see them. And so it's a good thing.
It's pretty big. Yeah. I mean, if you scroll up a little bit on here, you can see there's like, as you work a thing through FSM, you work through many different modules. So it's like you go from a request to an estimate to a work order to one or multiple service appointments to satisfy that work order. And before this, if you took a note on a service appointment, it wouldn't show up on the work order, which is obviously a problem because then the billing team comes in, they need to look at every single, it became kind of a nightmare to manage. So now if you think in CRM, when you go to the account, you can see notes from contacts, tasks, deals, these different things that are nested under it. They're basically doing a similar thing here where the notes are just going to carry on through that full process. So if there was a specific note from the initial request, you can see it all the way down at the service appointment when you go on site. They've got filters, so you don't need to see those. You can filter them out if you want to, but you'll just have that unified note environment, which I think will make a lot of people really happy. It's actually a piece of feedback that I've seen about this app. Really nice job to Zoho on this one.
Good job. FSM is coming along nicely. And moving along with the news here, Zoho Sign now has signer groups. So instead of sending it to one person to sign, you can actually designate a group. All of them are potentially authorized signers. Yep. And they can then, anyone who chooses to can then sign that document. This is not a feature that I think I've seen in DocuSign or any of those. This is kind of interesting. I'm trying to understand
So I think this is for internal usage. This is for internal usage where, like, in our process, when we send out a proposal, we sign it first and then it goes to our client. This could be useful in a scenario where I send a proposal to a client, they sign it first, then we are going to countersign it. Maybe I send it on a Thursday and then the client countersigns it on Tuesday, but I'm out of office, right? Yeah. And now I'm not going to be able to sign this, or I might not see it until I get back. So I could say, hey, Brett, Tyler, and Josh can all sign this. We're all allowed. And so if I'm gone and you get to it first, go ahead and sign it. No worries. So
thank God I've got you around, Tyler. Yeah. I was reading this. I was like, I don't understand. Hey, I'm going to send this to you. Is there like 5 people in your company that want to sign it? This makes so much more sense now to have clarity. I know.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a group approval, basically. Any of us are authorized to sign this type of document when it comes back.
Very, very nice. All right. Moving right along. You can now, over in Zoho Recruit, you can update more email delivery. This is more of a PSA in Zoho Recruit. So don't authenticate your domain. It's still going to be going out through Zepto Mail. If you authenticate your domain, you will have the choice to send it through your own relay server. Do I got that right?
Yeah, that's my understanding here. I mean, Recruit's in such a weird spot because they still don't have IMAP. You can email Recruit support. You can email their support team and they will turn it on for you. But it isn't just in the app. It's still POP3. It's been years and years of this. So yeah, this is where if you have a domain and you want to actually have your mail be sent via that domain rather than Zoho's mail servers, you can set up email relay. So if you're seeing any deliverability issues, you can go ahead and do this. And then basically, like if I were to connect our, Zenatta.com Gmail account, rather than it sending from Zoho, it's going to send direct through my Gmail, essentially via like an API action. So kind of a nice one. Again, I wish they would just turn on IMAP. That would be a simpler way to do this. But it doesn't hurt. And I do see more people moving over to Relay just because the deliverability of, a native inbox like Gmail and Outlook is always higher than like any tool, right?
Absolutely.
So not a bad idea.
Very nice. All right. And with that, that's the news stories we covered. Go read the other 10 in the newsletter. But let's get to our implementation of the week.
All right. So implementation of the week this week comes from Ben and Wayne. Wayne making a little guest appearance. He's our director of marketing, but he helped out with this one. So in this case, we were essentially building out an integration from web form. We used GravityForms in this case over to CRM using Zoho Flow. So kind of the goal here was that the client had a lot of programmatic advertising running, and they were running into an issue where a prospect would click on an ad, land on the website with their UTM parameters, then they'd go to the blog, those parameters get wiped out of the URL, and then they'll go back to the homepage and fill out the contact us form, and now we've lost those UTM parameters. This is one of the classic challenges of programmatic ads like Google Ads, Meta, wherever you're placing them. This is why you'll notice that a lot of times ads drop you into a landing page, and you'll go to the top left and you'll click on their logo expecting to go to the homepage, and it's not a link. That was not a mistake. That was on purpose, if you've ever noticed that happen. The goal there being, please fill out the form without going anywhere else on my site because I want to know which ad you clicked on. And so in this case, they didn't want to lock things down. They were like, hey, if someone wants to go read the blog, that's great. I don't want to like try to hide that from them, but I still do really want to know where they came from if they do choose to fill out that form. So Wayne went down the rabbit hole and kind of found a plugin that does a good job at keeping those UTM parameters in like a cookie. It's called AFM UTM Tracker, and it integrates natively with GravityForms. I think in this case, the reason we used GravityForms is that it was tied into this tool where Zoho Forms was not. So then those GravityForm submissions can post to a webhook endpoint inside of Zoho Flow, where all those UTM parameters are included. At that point, we've got all the lead info and the UTM info. So we just run it through a quick routine to check if an existing contact or lead already exists. And then if not, we'll go ahead and create a lead using that data. We did notice one little thing in here where once in a blue moon, the UTM parameters would not be inserted into the form. So they actually also added a bit of a backup plan where if we detect that there aren't UTM parameters, one of the other data fields that's provided is the full URL, which includes them. So they did kind of a clever thing where if we don't have them in the native fields, we'll go and we'll grab that URL and then extract them from there as a bit of a backup. So at this point now, the client has very, very, very high level of consistency with all of the UTM parameters being added to leads. Future goal, of course, as we like to do, is take that data, put it in analytics, bring in your Google Ads data to analytics, and then we can do some of those ROI calculations. I spent $10,000 in January, made 100 leads, 50 converted, 25 closed won deals. And then we can attribute all of that back to those original campaigns. So this is a nice one. I kind of called it out just because if anyone's running into this issue, which is pretty universal, this UTM tracking tool seems to have done a pretty good job at keeping those while a user navigates around your website.
Fantastic. And you need to track your leads, man. You're spending money on marketing. You want to know where things are coming from.
Yeah, it's a big deal for sure.
It's huge. It's huge. Nice workaround. Nice job. All right. And with that, let's head over to Club Zenatta and check out our code share of the week. All right. This comes from Renato. Handling file upload fields in Zoho CRM Subforms, a step-by-step breakdown. So if you don't know what's that?
We're on a tear with file management code shares the last couple of weeks. It's just giving out all the special sauce here on how we work with files across Zoho.
Yeah, this is a big one. So if you don't know, a subform is basically a multi-line form that you can customize to do virtually anything in most of the modules inside the CRM. You set up a subform, and a lot of people they use it for products, they use it for services, but it can really do anything. They've really enhanced these since they were originally launched in 2019. And more features have been added to them, such as files and various other things. So now you can, this is just basically the code on how to do it and how to set it up.
Yep.
They're powerful. I always, the great debate, subforms or a custom module related list kind of thing. I think it's really, they're very, what do you think, Tyler? What is in your opinion, like where you want to use a subform over setting up just a custom module that's doing the same data?
It depends on subforms are nice because of the user interface, especially now that they can be edited without going to the edit page. That makes them a lot better for me, at least when I'm kind of picking which way to go. For me, I would say for simple data, you have 5, 6, 7 fields that you need to track, and that those data points are not needed for a long-term process, because a subform, you can't have a follow-up task on a subform row. So if you're doing hey, these are our scope of work items that I'm going to mail merge into a proposal, subform is great. These are my quote items that I'm going to merge into a proposal. If it was something we're going to plan out these big picture 5 phases that we're going to go through on this implementation, maybe I want a related list. Now you can have best of both worlds where hey, for the proposal, we add these simple, 5 or 6 fields to a subform. Then when we win it, a script triggers that converts them to a related list where we're going to capture more information, set up tasks, send emails, do all of that type of longer term process flow. So they're not always even mutually exclusive, because there is a thing where when you're implementing a CRM and I'm going to add 5 products to a deal, as a user, it is just better to do that in a subform. I like it more, right? And so there's that adoption benefit. And so sometimes it is actually worth it to do a little bit of both and have that V1 of it be a subform, and then it kicks over into a module to track it in the long run.
Yeah. Very cool. But man, we are giving away the store here, everybody. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
This is
and this goes through the ethereal ZFS, the Zoho file system in the background. It's very non-obvious how a lot of these things work in here. We're also, again, highlighting the most bizarre thing ever, where if you want to delete a file from the ZFS, you add a parameter called delete, and then the value is null. And just the existence of the parameter deletes the file, which is the most bizarre thing. So yeah, just a nice one here. Keep in mind, really the process is take a file, put it in ZFS, get the ZFS file ID, put that in a list, put that list into the file upload field. That's kind of the short story here. The only thing that's different in the subform is once you have that list in the file upload field, you put that list in another list with one record for each row that you want to insert into the subform itself. So definitely a nice one. We've kind of gone through, at this point, file upload fields, how they interact with subforms, how to transfer them over to WorkDrive. I mean, these are things we do a lot. So Go ahead and enjoy them. We do really hope that these are helpful for everybody.
Get the data, manipulate the data, and put it somewhere else. That's kind of
really what we do.
Kind of it. All righty. And with that, let's talk a little bit about Club Zenatta. If you don't know, that's our online community, and we would love for you to come join. All we require is your email. And while you're in here, you can participate in our group of users. We've got them from all over the world helping each other out. We're constantly posting stuff. As you can see, other people are posting things. There's just a whole bunch here to go ahead and take a look at. So come over to club.zenatta.com, join the community. You can ask questions, which we will answer on the show sometimes if they're good enough. As a matter of fact, we've got one that we'll be answering on this show today. General discussion group, and of course, all of the co-chairs we just discussed are also there as well. Now let's head over to zenatta.com and check out our blog of the week. Well, Tyler, we have a monster here. So Wayne went through and compiled, looking at all of the 50 plus implementations of the week you did over the last year on the CRM Zen Show, and picked out 10 that were unique. Maybe they just SEO'd well, but this is a 4,000 word blog that basically kind of talks about some of the key implementations that we have done over the last year. Pretty interesting. I mean, there's something for everyone here. So, you go through that, and if you don't, if you're like, man, where can I find all the implementations? If you're on Zenatta and you just click on podcast, that's the CRM Zen Show. And inside the CRM Zen Show, well, we basically have a complete rundown of everything we talked about on that show, and every implementation lives inside there as well. So you can kind of take a quick look at that, see what it does, what it all means. And if you're like, wow, that's something I want, well, then you can just click on this book a meeting button right here. Next thing you know, you'll be talking to someone, and we'll be helping you get that set up for yourself as well. So they're all here. Co-share of the week. You can go through and click through all the news that we covered and didn't cover. Like if you look at this week, how many stories did we probably do on that show? I wasn't here last week, so probably 6 or 7. And here's all the other stuff that maybe is of interest to you, but for time we left it out of the show. So that's all over at zenatta.com. And while you're there, we got this big sale. So you want to use Goodbye 2024 and take $1,000 off all of our training courses. And with that, let's head over to YouTube and get the tip of the week. Tyler, Zoho Books Workflow and Automation Tutorial. What'd you do on this one? 20 minutes,
Yes,
15
this is one
minutes.
where I just went through and kind of demoed the different ways that you can automate things inside of Zoho Books. In this case, I use a workflow to set up a follow-up process for a quote that's been sent out. I also do demo the what they call sales order cycle automation, which they added a little while back. That's basically a pre-baked automation where you can say that when a sales order gets confirmed, I want to auto-create an invoice, auto-create a package, kind of do any of those like conversion processes automatically. So I do demo that as well, just because those are things that we used to always have to write code to do. Sometimes you still will need code if you need something more custom, like if you're doing fractional invoices and then you want to only, package those products. But if you do a full invoice and package conversion, then you can likely get away with just using these pre-baked sales order cycle automations. So yeah, kind of a quick one where we just walk through, how workflows work and then an example and then a quick demo of the sales order cycle automations.
Fantastic. And if you don't know, if you head over to youtube.com/Zenatta, that is where we keep all of our videos, all the CRM Zen shows, all of our tutorials. Once a month, we kind of do a deep dive into a product, and they are all here over at youtube.com/Zenatta. And as always, we would love it if you would like and subscribe and follow us on YouTube. And normally we'd wrap the show there, but guess what? We've got some huzzahs. Yeah. If you don't know, Azaz was an old show we did. Ask Zenatta anything about Zoho. I screamed it in a shower one morning, and it was kind of, I don't know, it didn't last very long. We did it for a while.
We watched it.
We launched it, and out there, it was there. But you know what? Freddie spent so much time on those cool graphics and everything. We kind of want to bring it back. So Yugal is asking, is it possible to get inventory forecasting in Zoho? I noticed the feature isn't available in Zoho Inventory. Can it be easily implemented in Zoho Analytics, or is there another product or approach for this? Thanks. Well, Yugal, kind of know, right, Tyler?
Yeah, not natively in inventory, but definitely possible inside of Zoho Analytics. Easily implemented becomes the operative word there. Easily. It really depends on how robust you need this to be. Simple versions can be relatively easy to implement. Like, let's take our average sales volume of a given product over 3 months, compare that to what I have in stock, and then give like an expected reorder month, right? So like, hey, probably by June, you're going to need to order some more of these widgets. For more complicated build outs, if you want to involve like FIFO and things like that, or batching or serial number management, like that's where it gets a little more complicated. But like for your baseline type of forecasting reports, it is relatively simple to build out inside of Zoho Analytics. You'll probably need a SQL table. You're going to need a couple formulas to kind of do some math and then add a number to a date, right? Like add X months to this date because I calculated the number of months based on the volume and the stock on hand. So a little bit of manipulation of the data, but definitely possible inside of Zoho Analytics.
Very good. All right. Well, that is going to wrap up another edition of the CRM Zen Show. What was this? 330 what? What's this episode number?
334.
334. All right. So no big milestones next year. We're not going to hit 400. We're going to have to wait 2026 for that. I don't know. Well, more angels will get their wings. So next week we have our annual year in review. We're going to run through everything that happened in the world of Zoho this year. We're going to do the Zenmies. We've got that. There's all kinds of exciting stuff. So please join us next Friday for that show. It should be a good one. It always is. You didn't wear your Christmas Zenatta shirt today, Tyler.
Yeah. I do have a Zenatta shirt on. It is my green.
Well, you got some branding going. All right. Well, very good. Are you feeling the holiday spirit yet? Has it?
Oh, absolutely. Well, not quite, actually. It's like sunny today instead of, it's not getting into that wintry mix that I'm used to this time of year.
So did you decorate your house since no one's coming over, or did you guys?
A little bit. We threw up a couple, just for ourselves. But yeah, nothing crazy, just because we're going to be gone as of Sunday for a little while here.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, I wish everybody a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Have fun, enjoy it with your families. And as always, if you would like to reach out to us so we can help you with whatever your problems may be with Zoho, or maybe you're just getting started with it, please head over to Zenatta.com and click on Book a Meeting, and we'll be talking to you in no time at all.
And on the website is also where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. If you want that news delivered straight to your inbox every Monday morning, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. And last but not least, we always appreciate when you like and subscribe here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
The CRM Zen Show was produced by Podcaster Zen.
Merry Christmas, everybody.